Brazilian football has always carried a tradition of hype, an almost unstoppable wave of confidence that often begins long before a single ball is kicked. For decades, the Seleção has built narratives of glory even before tournaments truly begin. Sometimes it's the bold dream of lifting the long-awaited Hexa, their 6th World Cup trophy, and sometimes it's the endless debates about how strong even their bench squad appears compared to others. Yet, if we look back at the past 2 decades, reality has often painted a much harsher picture. Since that golden triumph in 2002, Brazil has not even managed to reach another World Cup final. In fact, they haven't even stepped into the semifinals in all these years. Time and again, the story has been the same. Strong starts, big promises, but heartbreaking exits in the quarterfinals. For a nation that lives and breathes football, these failures have become a bitter routine. Not too long ago, Brazil found themselves in an even worse position. Under coach Dorival Jr., their World Cup qualifying campaign was shaky, to say the least. The Seleção, usually the giants of South America, were suddenly struggling to secure wins, dropping points with draws and painful defeats. At one point, questions were seriously being asked. Could Brazil even qualify for the main tournament? A question that once felt unthinkable was suddenly very real. Eventually, Dorival was shown the exit door, and Brazil made a bold move that sent shockwaves across world football. Enter Carlo Ancelotti, the legendary Italian coach, famously known as Don Carlo at Real Madrid. A man with one of the most decorated resumes in football, a master tactician, a leader with calm authority. For Brazil, his appointment felt like a turning point, a new dawn. And instantly, the hype machine roared back to life. Suddenly, fans and pundits began whispering the same old promises. The Hexa is coming, Brazil is back, and under Ancelotti, nothing could stop them. But here's the real question. Is it too early for all this talk? So far, Ancelotti has only managed 3 games in charge of Brazil. Yes, the results have been positive. 2 wins and a draw. But is that enough to justify the sudden flood of sky-high expectations? Once again, it seems history is repeating itself. Brazil's culture of hype has returned, with confidence soaring far beyond what has actually been proven on the pitch. It's as if fans believe the 6 star is already sewn onto the jersey, when in reality, the World Cup stage is still a long and difficult road away. This is where Brazil's story always seems to stumble. They dream big, they talk big, but when the real test arrives, the pressure, the intensity, the knockout stages, too often they fail to deliver. The heartbreak in the quarterfinals has become almost a curse. And now, as the build-up to 2026 grows, many are wondering, is Brazil repeating the same mistake again by dreaming too loudly? Too early? But let's also be fair. Dreams are part of football, and if there's one nation that has earned the right to dream, it's Brazil. For a team with such rich history, with such talent emerging, it's natural to talk about glory. The key, however, is turning those dreams into reality. That requires more than hype. It requires planning, hard work, patience, and above all, consistency. The encouraging part is that this new Brazil team has something different. The squad is no longer just about aging stars or past heroes. It's about the new generation, a wave of young players who are hungry to prove themselves. In their recent 3-0 victory, Brazil's future stars lit up the pitch. Players like Wesley, Endrick, Estêvão, and Douglas Luiz stood out, repaying the trust Ancelotti has placed in them. These are the names carrying Brazil's hope forward, and they're already showing glimpses of brilliance that could define the next era of Brazilian football. Still, brilliance in qualifiers or friendly matches is one thing. Delivering under the blinding lights of the World Cup is another. The real question is, can these youngsters handle the pressure when it matters most? Can they turn the weight of expectation into fuel rather than fear? Until they step onto the biggest stage, we simply won't know. That's why the hype feels premature. Instead of declaring victory before the battle begins, Brazil needs to stay grounded, trust Ancelotti's tactics, and build a team identity that thrives under pressure. And this is where Ancelotti's role becomes absolutely crucial. He is not just another coach. He is a proven winner who knows how to manage egos, shape systems, and create balance in a team. Brazil doesn't just need someone to motivate them. They need someone to instill discipline, tactical awareness, and a sense of calm when the storm of pressure arrives. If Ancelotti can do that, if he can blend Brazilian flair with European discipline, then maybe, just maybe, the Hexa dream could become real. But let's not forget, the path ahead is brutal. South America is filled with tough rivals like Argentina, Uruguay, and Colombia, each growing stronger. On the world stage, Europe continues to dominate, with teams like France, Spain, Germany, and England all preparing for 2026 with stacked squads of their own. The World Cup will be no easy ride. It will be war. And Brazil must be ready for every single challenge, not just rely on the weight of history or the beauty of past glories. For too long, Brazil has been living off its history. The magic of Pelé, the genius of Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Kaká, the golden memories of the past. But history alone cannot win the future. The world of football has evolved, tactics have advanced, and physicality has grown sharper. If Brazil wants to reclaim their throne, they must prove they are more than a nostalgic story. They must show they are a modern powerhouse ready to dominate once again. And that is why this moment feels so critical. Brazil stands at a crossroads. On one side lies the danger of repeating the same mistakes. Too much hype, too little substance, and another quarterfinal heartbreak. On the other side lies the chance to truly rebuild, to embrace Ancelotti's leadership, to trust the young talents, and to craft a team that can finally handle the pressure of the biggest stage. The truth is simple. Brazil cannot win the World Cup with words. They cannot win it with slogans or chants of Hexa before the tournament even begins. They can only win it with sweat, sacrifice, and consistent performance. If this new generation gives everything on the pitch, if they learn to turn pressure into strength, then maybe, just maybe, we will see Brazil rise again as the kings of world football. But make no mistake, the road is long, the opponents are fierce, and the margin for error is thin. This is not about proving they're the best in history. It's about proving they're the best today. And only the future will tell if Ancelotti and his new golden generation are ready for that challenge. For now, the hype is back, but will the results follow? That is the story every Brazilian fan is waiting to see unfold.